So the final thing on my list here for what we're going to talk about is Overwatch. Surprise, surprise. I love Overwatch, and they recently announced, I think this was on their forums. I honestly can't remember. It's been a while since I looked into this, but yeah, battle.net and their forums and stuff. It looks like that's where this came from. They announced that they're improving the penalty system for Overwatch, and that console players are also going to get a better reporting system because I think I don't have the PC version yet. I plan on getting it. Right now I have the Xbox One version, and I believe the PC version has like a more in-depth reporting system. Like you can get more specific and add descriptions to why you're reporting somebody. And it's really weird that I'm talking about like the subject is a reporting system. Usually that's not like a big deal in games. It's pretty easy to like report people. But Overwatch has had a lot of issues with toxic players since day one as well. Every game has toxic players, so it's not. This isn't something that's like Blizzard's fault per se. And Overwatch is completely, as it's very unique in the style of competitive game that it is. In that like everyone has all these different characters and they have to balance it out almost like a fighting game. That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of a first person shooter MOBA fighting game. Um which is weird, especially with Doomfist now, who's basically a fighting game character. But anyways, so I'm not blaming Blizzard for this or anything. And this is good. It sounds like they're gonna add not only a better, like a more in-depth reporting system for console players, like the PC version has, but they're also improving the one that they already have on PC, which is fantastic because, and I hope it works at least. I guess that's the most important thing. But they said even before they got into this update, whatever they plan on doing for an update that is for reporting players and such, they actually said, I don't know who it was, but somebody from Blizzard on the Battle.net forum said that this would be, quote, effective immediately. And they said anything from abusive chat, harassment, in-game spam, match inactivity, and griefing. You can be silenced, suspended, or banned. So, Blizzard, in terms of Overwatch, has always been on the ball with like balancing characters and like fixing things and glitches and stuff. They're so good at it. Nintendo should take some tips from them. This is just another example of Blizzard being on the ball and just right when we need them to, take care of something in Overwatch. A lot of times they get to things before we even knew. There's so many times where the game has an update and it says we fixed this glitch, and I'm like, I didn't even know that existed. But you can just tell here that they know their game so well. Blizzard's always been, for the most part, a top-notch company anyways, but if we're just talking Overwatch here, they said abusive chat. That happens in any and all online games. So, sure, we'll just say that doesn't make Blizzard smarter for knowing that there's abusive chat. Of course there is. Harassment, a little bit in the same category. It could be worse, but they also said, and this is where I can tell like they know their game. In-game spam. They have the ability to like do emotes and like say thank you and all that shit. In the middle of like matches and stuff. But some people, when they're like pissed, what they'll do if they don't have a microphone or whatever is like if your team loses the first round, they'll just say thanks, thanks, thanks over and over, and it's so fucking annoying. And there is like a limit, so like after you say something like 3 times, you have to wait like 5 seconds, but they just won't stop because there's a lot of just toxic players in the Overwatch community right now. And they're kind of having trouble separating the toxic players from the good one, which is why I think they're really looking into these like bans and suspensions and looking to improve their penalty system, because most, I'd say like most competitive like online shooters or just whatever though, you know, have pretty good penalty systems, and Overwatch's was never really the greatest. The ranking system's already a little bit iffy, and that doesn't really help either. Because it is a team game too. So when you have teammates that are that toxic, it's hard to imagine how they get to Grandmaster or something, you know? I mean, they must be good at the game. They do have to be good at the game to do that, but it is a team game, so if people can just solo their way to the top, it's a little bit like, yeah, maybe they should do something about that. I don't know. But you could be a nice player and solo your way to the top too, I guess. So I don't know. Anyways, match inactivity. I heard a lot of people when Blizzard said they're gonna start banning people from for all these, you know, offenses, and match inactivity was one of them. People were like, well, wait a minute, what if I have to like go to the bathroom and like, or like sometimes I have to do something, somebody knocks at the door, and I understand that, but if you're in an online game, sometimes you just have to pay that penalty. I don't think that people have to worry about that. You're not going to get banned for being inactive in like 1 or 2 matches. You know, if you really care about Overwatch, you're probably there most of the time when you're playing competitively, because this is for competitive play. You know, this isn't like social, at least the match inactivity isn't, you know, toxic chat and stuff that can probably get you banned anywhere in the game. But so I don't think people really have to worry about that. And Blizzard will review, you know, all these cases and stuff. There's going to be a lot of them, but they've done a pretty good job of it with what they have so far. So hopefully once they improve this, they'll do an even better one. That's just my opinion though. And then griefing, which, Jesus Christ, people. Overwatch, for me personally, in my opinion, has some of the worst, like, griefing, I want to say, like, in any, I don't know, I feel like Overwatch has some of the worst griefing I've ever experienced in, like, online games. Maybe it's just because it's so popular right now, so lots of people are playing it, but because I don't know, I back in the Halo 3 days, you know, I experienced it a lot, but I don't know, I feel like I experienced it more in Overwatch. Maybe I'm just not thinking straight, but Overwatch has a lot of people who just go into games and they're like, oh, shoot your nano on me, Ana, I'll take care of this, I'm the Hanzo of the team, I take care of everything. And then they're like, I'm not gonna do that because that's a bad idea for the team. And then it'll just harass players and yell at them, and they'll be like, I'm throwing or whatever. I don't hear that. I don't know. Like, I've heard of that in other games, things similar to that, different nature, but because it's another game. But man, it just seems like there's so many Overwatch games I've seen where people are just like, I'm throwing, fuck you, I'm the one that's supposed to do all the work and stuff. It's very like, there, a lot of it, like I said, has to do with the fact that Blizzard has to kind of figure out how to make it so that people don't get extra benefits from being a solo player, because that is a thing right now where it's like your MMR and stuff doesn't suffer as much if you're playing or what is it? It's either that or like you I don't know. I just remember like all the grandmasters like, well, we don't play in teams of 6 because if we do, our rank's going to get hit so hard at the end of the game because the ranking system assumes that, hey, if you're in a team of 6, that means you're probably going to win, right? So they give like some leeway to solo players, and I don't know, that just kind of sucks. It's a tough game. Like I said, it's so different from what we've experienced with online competitive games and shooters, really. So it'll take them some time, and for me, that's forgivable. But obviously, they're working on that. At least the side of toxicity and all that stuff, and that's something that Overwatch desperately needed. I think that's probably either the ranking system or like the leeway they give to solo players or the toxicity have been the worst things about the game, but that's not saying much because it's such a fantastic game. Everybody loves Overwatch. Well, maybe not everybody, but lots of people love Overwatch.